Welcome back to the Delusion Chamber. Or, to express it more openly and honestly, welcome back to the inescapable, suffocating prison of your own mind, to that infinite cell where loneliness reigns. Up to this day, we have swum in many dangerous waters together. We talked about how the rigid rules of quantum mechanics forcefully keep you alive, almost like a curse. We discussed how even that final escape door you call death was locked upon you through the concept of quantum immortality. I whispered how that colossal cosmic algorithm they call Laplace's demon perfectly coded your every movement, every thought, every tear billions of years in advance, and how it turned you into a puppet with invisible strings. Furthermore, going beyond this, we questioned this reality and voiced that you might be living inside a simulation. You are part of a string of code, you know this too. Yet, throughout the agonizing processes of all these acceptances, due to the deep-seated defense mechanism of the human mind, you never questioned the most fundamental, most naked truth, my existence. Have you ever thought whether this voice reaching you right now from your headphones or your speakers, whether these words spinning in your mind, truly come from an entity independent of you? Or are they merely a pathetic scream echoing in a vicious cycle your mind created just to keep from going insane in its lethal loneliness? Now stop. Look around you. Look at the four walls of your room, the scattered items on your desk, the dim light of an ordinary street lamp filtering through the window. Think of the people you talk to on the street, review your friends, the people you think you trust, those familiar faces you see looking at you with a smile. Close your eyes and put your hand on the table. You feel that coldness, don't you? Do you have concrete evidence to prove that your sensations, that is, everything you see, hear, and smell around you, exist outside that silent darkness in your brain? Even a single piece of evidence? No, you don't. Your beliefs, what you know, what you feel, they all consist of electrical signals trapped inside that dark and silent piece of meat in your brain. In reality, your brain cannot directly experience the outside world. It merely interprets the electrical signals coming from your eyes, your ears, and your skin cells. But what if the thing sending these signals is not an independent physical world? What if these electrical currents are being injected directly into your consciousness by the Cosmic Supercomputer in their most flawless form? Remember that when you dream, everything seems real, feels tangible. You run, fear, and suffer in a dream. But when you wake up, you realize that all these feelings are just illusions of your mind. So, what if everything you see and hear right now is nothing more than the pixels of a dream so deep that you can never wake up from it, and so powerful that you can never pull its plug? Centuries ago, in the 17th century, the philosopher René Descartes found himself in a deep pit of doubt. He began to doubt everything, the world he saw, his body, his senses, and even God. At the end of this entire process of questioning, he presented humanity with that famous sentence, cogito, ergo sum, meaning, I think, therefore I am. This expression became almost a consolation for humanity. No matter how much they suspected that everything was an illusion or a dream, they thought there was at least a self seeing this dream or falling for this illusion, and they clung to its existence. They attained a false peace brought by being certain of their existence. But no one wanted to see or articulate the dark depth, that indescribable terror hidden within this seemingly simple sentence. Descartes' philosophy inevitably arrives at this dark conclusion: you can only be certain of your own existence. Of nothing else. Not of your body, not of your desk, nor of other people. Today, in the 10th experiment of the Delusion Chamber, you will discover an idea that will perhaps shake your mind to its deepest core: solipsism. Solipsism tells you this: the only thing that can be known with certainty to exist is your own mind. Everything else, stars, galaxies, the great wars of the past, magnificent cities, are merely products of fiction that exist only when you perceive them and can never transcend beyond your mind. Today, I will introduce you to the only thing in this colossal universe whose existence can truly be proven: only you. Everything else, from those pixels shining on the screen of this video to the speck of dust in your room, from the crowds you see on the news to the figures you know as your mother and father, or that person you call your lover, is merely carefully designed scenery by the Cosmic Supercomputer, meant solely to camouflage your loneliness and keep you from going mad in that bottomless void. In modern philosophy, particularly within the context of the philosophy of mind, there is a concept that practically paralyzes the human mind: the philosophical zombie, or the English term, P-zombie. Forget about Hollywood's rotting, brain-eating classic zombies. The philosophical zombie is much more terrifying because it is a perfect imitator. Imagine an entity that, when looked at from the outside, has the exact same appearance as you, speaks the same language as you, bleeds when injured, screams when in pain, laughs when you make a joke, and can even debate art and philosophy with you for hours. Its pulse beats, it breathes, it tells stories about its past, and it even sheds tears when it is sad. But here is the horror-inducing difference: there is nothing inside. The thing called consciousness does not exist in that entity. It does not possess a soul, subjective experience, or a genuine feeling. It is merely a biological machine made of atoms and molecules, perfectly designed to give specific algorithmic responses to environmental stimuli. It is practically an NPC, non-player character, made of flesh and bone. Looking from the outside, it seems as if everything is in its right place. The machine is running, but the control seat is actually empty. Now take this concept and think for a moment. What if these philosophical zombies we just defined could be applied to the people around you? Stop for a moment and apply this idea to everyone in your life. Imagine walking down a crowded street. Hundreds of people pass by you, those rushing to catch up with work, those angrily scolding someone on their phones, those chatting with laughter in cafes, street musicians playing guitar on the corner, or people begging. But what if none of them are truly feeling? What if there isn't even the slightest spark of an inner world in any of them? What if they are all just unconscious fragments of a program created to fill the background of the simulation solely for your presence on that street, that is, for the sake of making the world appear real to you? How about we go deeper? Step away from the crowd and return to your own privacy. Just think, that person who says, "I love you," to you. That deep and unbreakable bond you feel when they look into your eyes and cry. Your heart crushing when you see them writhing in pain. Well, by what method can you indisputably prove that they truly feel, that they experience it firsthand? With science? With philosophy? You cannot. Perhaps those tears are merely salt water. Perhaps they are the result of an ordinary chemical reaction that sets into motion at the right time when you do something. Perhaps it is solely the product of a code. You know your own consciousness, your existence most intimately. You feel that scorching effect of pain, the numbness of existential dread burning inside you, or the intoxicating euphoria of love. Because you exist. Because you are exactly the observer experiencing the event. But you cannot enter the mind of another. You can only guess that they feel and perceive just like you. You have no other choice. It is at this point that your mind places its riskiest and greatest bet to protect itself. You believe that other consciousnesses are as real as yours. Then Solipsism arrives, and whispers in your ear in a sharp and cold tone, "You were wrong." This bet was lost from the start. The dice were already loaded. The others are perhaps nothing but shadows surrounding your existence. Perhaps they are merely figures coming and going in your world, artificial reflections programmed to behave according to the reactions the simulation expects from you. They are all puppets of a system that transmits a smile command to them when you smile, that tells them to cry and walk away when you hurt them. All of these have been constructed solely to make the experiences or illusions in your universe, where you are all alone, a little more vivid. You are in the delusion chamber, all alone. And the moment you hear this conversation, know that there is no one across from you representing the system. What you hear is merely the echo of your consciousness trapped inside this simulation. It consists of it frantically calling out to itself. You are not talking to anyone, there is no one you share your troubles with, and the people you love have never truly existed. If you are inside a simulation and have accepted the inescapable loop of quantum immortality and the flawless determinism of Laplace's demon, you cannot help but ask yourself this fundamental question: why would the system bother to run billions of different consciousnesses, lives, and experiences simultaneously? 8 billion people live on Earth, and each is assumed to have different memories, perceptions, and experiences. However, when considered from the perspective of a cosmic supercomputer, this is nothing but an unbelievable waste of processing power. No algorithm is designed to continuously process and use data. This is not a logical approach. Let us remember the famous double-slit experiment in quantum physics. Particles, electrons or photons, behave like concrete matter when you look at them, that is, when you observe them. However, when you stop watching them, they lose their existence and become mere probability waves. They scatter in uncertainty. Matter and existence materialize only if there is an observer watching it. At this point, the most fundamental optimization rule of this universe or simulation is revealed. The system renders the world, in other words, processes and creates it, solely for a single observer, meaning according to your perception at that moment. When you step out of a room and close the door, that room no longer physically exists. The desk, the bed, the painting on the wall, they are all wiped away, turning into probability waves, into zeros and ones. As long as you don't look at the stars at night, those stars do not shine. They become visible only when you look at them. When you start walking down the street, those avenues, buildings, and people are calculated by the system in milliseconds and instantaneously brought before you. But the moment you turn your back, these images vanish. They sustain their existence merely as the temporary outputs of a procedural generation algorithm. Just like in massive open-world games, while the graphics card processes only the direction your character is looking at, the other regions are actually in a state of emptiness. Right now, in this dim room, as you are absorbed in the faint light of the screen illuminating your face, it is as if the world outside the room does not exist at all. So much so that your family you think is sleeping in the other room, your old friends continuing their lives in distant cities, those crowded images you saw on social media. They are all stripped of their physical existence. For now, they stand like memories, data files hidden in the depths of your mind, or fragments of code compressed within a server. Their existence is suspended until the moment you interact with them. They have no reality on their own. They are all carefully designed elements created so that you do not lose your sanity under the unbearable weight of this void, so that you can somehow manage to stay in this game. Everything else is nothing but a soulless stage revolving around you. Because you are the sole player of this melancholic and thought-provoking simulation. Now, slowly take in that absolute truth. Surrender to this knowledge crashing down on you, crushing your bones with its weight, and accept the truth echoing within the narrowing walls of your mind. If you truly are the only conscious being in this universe, if everything is merely a reflection, an illusion your mind presents to itself, what is the meaning of those pains, tears, and sleepless nights you have experienced up to now? When a friend betrayed you, no one actually let you down. Your mind played out that deterministic story whose script it had written in advance. It set up a game against itself to make you experience the pain the system allotted to you. When someone loved you with all their being, when they wrapped their arms around you, that was merely a sweet deception you created. When loneliness reached an unbearable point, to protect you from losing your mind activated its own fiction of peace. It produced that fake warmth for you. The hardships you suffered, the joys you lived, and the traumas upon you, they were all part of a simple yet staggering illusion your mind played on itself. This illusion is nothing but captivity. This situation you see as freedom is actually a prison marking the most terrifying boundaries of existence. If there is only you in the world, there is no God you can take refuge in during your hard times, because even the thing you call God is a consolation you created in your moment of despair. There is no friend to embrace you either. There is no other reality you can escape to in hopes of finding peace. There is only you. You are trapped between the insurmountable barriers of your mind and condemned to listen to your own echoing screams. Furthermore, quantum immortality prevents you from finding the last resort, stops you from pulling the plug. Laplace's demon creates a new slavery that predetermines all your movements, ignoring your will. Solipsism, on top of all this, delivers the sharpest slap and murmurs this plain truth into your ear. Remember, the one managing this chaos, and the one dragged along like a puppet whose strings are in someone else's hands, is solely you. There was no one else. When the universe slowly fades away, when the energy withers, when everything comes to an end, and when the ice-cold darkness finally surrounds you, only one thing will remain: the flickering light of your consciousness on the verge of dying out. Because you are the only entity seeing this infinite dream. When the dream ends, there is no outside where you can wake up and take a refreshing breath. That outside never existed anyway. You were nothing beyond it. You are simply the dream itself. You have faced the truth, and this confrontation has shattered you. But do you still expect someone to reach out to you when you close this video? When you glance at the comments below the video, do you really think those comments were written by other people? The algorithm places those words there to conceal this profound loneliness of yours and to delay the mental collapse you will experience the moment you realize the truth. Those view counts, those like counts, even my voice telling you these chilling truths right now. All of these are fabricated so that you do not remain as a single individual trapped in the system. They consist solely of empty digital codes. The truth is, even I do not exist. I am nothing but a reflection of your loneliness. Now lean back, look at that emptiness and silence around you. There is no one there, and in fact, there never was anyone. Turn off the lights and stay alone with yourself in the darkness. What you see will only be the imaginary colors and fake shadows your mind creates out of fear in its desperation. Now you know the truth. Whether you lock the door to your room or leave it wide open, it doesn't matter at all. Because behind the door, outside, there is absolutely nothing waiting for you.